Alex de Veselio Eminentio.
Hemismak sağ, itrak, sırası kemoşu. Mama, ben böyle bir kısmıyız. Çıkışım onu kendi layıklı, şişi gün gibi şey. Hatta sen de basat. Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 285. It is 9 o'clock on the 23rd of October. Today is a Thursday, question mark. Narrative Spittoon Inversion 3.0 Online is the name of the game. I'm going to be introducing it, we're going to be showing it, and it's going to be fun. So I'm glad you could join us. If you're watching live or if you're watching later, don't forget there are links in the description. You can come and join us and hang out. We're going to be doing more. We're usually hanging out before and after the show at the moment. We're quite busy, but we're taking full advantage of what's on offer. So if you're a writer and you're interested in playing around with new tools, you're going to like this one. We're also going to take a look at a couple of other things which we've done. So strap in. I've got my coffee here. And we're rebuilding the websites as well, guys, so it's slowly happening. You can watch it all happen live in the Scuffed Epoch Discord in the dev chat. So, Vernicar, Battle Cruiser operational, liked and subscribed. Just got to say on the side, appreciate all the support over the years, guys. Like I said, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. So, appreciate that. I'm going to be overhauling the Ko-Fi as well, because we haven't really got a unified donation place. So I'm going to set that up over there. Full Dive Media, hey, how are you doing today? Good, doing good. Like I say, coming up with some new methods. I'm hoping to come up with a replacement, because the shorts were fun. It was fun to mess around with AI shorts, but I want to make them actually good. So that's my new goal for winter: is make the shorts actually good though. So there'll be less of them, but they won't be AI anymore. That's the bottom line, because they work, and every now and then they're good, but there's a lot of misses, man. So I'm just not going to do it anymore. There's probably a lot of them still in scheduling, so I'm going to let them all come out. But I started doing it at a time when I was doing a lot of contract work, so I needed a way to keep the channel alive, despite only having time for the streams, you see. Dragon is here, and he said he's not feeling very well, so he's going to grab a battle bucket. Well, that's a nice segue, because we're going to be talking about buckets all night. Well, for a significant proportion of the show at least. So thank you, Sharona. We're going to move on. So just in case you were wondering about the intro, we obviously did that over previous live streams. You'll find the information in the Discord, but essentially it is a nano banana, which we use for doing T-poses and skin changes. And then it is a meshy, where we make les mesh. And it's all GLB, baby. GLB with an external animation library. All custom tooling, all done with AI. Nice. Here's the custom tooling. Has bulk export for splitting animations, and then an animation preview to check that our new models can run the animations. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's actually a chat. as well. It's not just an animation suite, it's actually a chat. You can talk to her and she'll talk back. That's essentially what it is. But this is the subject of a previous show, so we're going to get rid of her for now and move on to what we're actually talking about. So, number one, just get this one out of the way. The hybrid swarm agent is now working, was updated, but I've got to test it again. So, like I said, there might still be some bugs. It's the first release I've done for Claude Code proper. I know we did Claude Skills, but they didn't really, you know what I mean? This is the first proper Claude Code release, and I don't use it as much as I would like to. So, I was learning as I went along with this one. And as I say, it all works great, but it does have some special functions, so it was a bit strange. Wait, that's not correct. Forget what it says here. I'm talking about Hybrid Swarm right now, and it's showing me, because I used Hybrid Swarm to write the plans. Got it. So yeah, there's a plan there to build Nano GPT, which is the next thing I want to talk about. So, do we have two open? Yeah, we do. Get rid of it. Okay. So that should give me a clean slate to talk about. Not the hybrid swarm agent. You just talked about that. Nope. So, okay. We've done a lot of stuff. So let's cover that before we get into the main meat of the show. So I'm doing work on the 3D graph still. We're adding stuff. We were just doing that on the show. We're going to have a look at that later. Like I said, the hybrid swarm agent should be working now, but I need to download it to my laptop just to make sure that it actually replicates when you install it all fresh on a new machine. And then I can declare it done. But it's kind of in the final polish phase. Nano GPT Crispy, that's a good one. And then Cascade Edit. I can't show you that one. Or maybe I can, but I'd have to install it. So we'll do it after the main show. Focus. But Nano Crispy. What is Nano GPT Crispy? New repo. So Nano GPT Crispy is using the new Nano GPT repo from Andrei Karpathy, which allows you to create your own GPT-2, 124 million parameters, okay? You will need 8 A100s with 4 days of training. So yes, it won't be cheap. But the point is, it's sort of like practically within reach for people who have a budget for this kind of thing. It's under $1,000 to train your own GPT. I know it's only GPT-2, but you've got to keep an eye on this stuff, because if they figure out how to do... Anyway, the point wasn't the project. The point was to use the project for the holographic unfolding as a little showcase. So what we end up with is 7 core phase documents, which is a complete implementation guide. So you can go ahead and follow that to build your own GPT. And then, I mean, maybe you've got your own GPUs and you don't mind it taking a little bit longer. Wink, wink, people listening in the community. But yeah, 9 educational substages, tutorial focused. So these are basically, I would use them to make some websites to demo, you know, to more explain what's going on here. Okay. And then 3 production substages. Now, this was done to demo the fact that you can unfold for purpose. So if I have a plan, I could unfold it to be a development plan to write code, but I could also unfold it to be educational tutorials for mini websites, courses, and so on. Okay? So the unfolding process works the same no matter what the topic or content is, right? And then the critical review, and I'll explain what that is. So first thing we did, let me just explain this. This is fun. So we started with the hybrid swarm, which obviously we talked about yesterday, doing parallel research to understand the landscape. The research agent then took ChatGPT's architecture scale. The writer agent created technical explanation. The key insights are understanding production scale transformers provided context for the minimalist implementation. So then phase 2, swarm agents analyzed Nano GPT. They used a research agent eventually with the report. See, I've linked, these are all reports you can read. Deep dive into 600 lines of pure PyTorch implementation. The writer agent wrote documented architecture, training approach, and philosophy. That gives us that file. And then we get to the unfolding. So we use the unfold skill, which obviously I've published. There's a link to the repo. And what it's done is it's given us a 7-phase implementation plan. So as you can see, there it is. And each of them is actually a document you can go and read, right? I apologize if there are ghost links on here. AI does do that, but they should all link to an actual thing. So then what we do is we take Sonnet 4.5 and we say, review the phase plans. And I gave it 3 conditions. Feasibility. Can each phase be executed as written? Completeness. Is the document sufficient for reproduction? And unfolding potential. Would substages improve usability? So can we go down another depth layer and get even more detail for the more complex parts of this plan? We shouldn't really unfold the whole thing. You don't need to unfold the overview, obviously. So then the question is, do we need to unfold the rest? So I asked him to tell me. And then we get our phase review report, which identified phases 2 and 4 being optional for educational contexts. So this becomes a prime demonstration for it being able to do that rather than just making more and more and more detailed plans. You can use it for different things. Right. So then we demonstrate the 2 holographic unfolding methods by doing education-focused unfolding. So that would be more for doing tutorials, coursework, lesson plans, that kind of thing. So that's going to explain the foundation components, the attention mechanism, and the model assembly. These are rated to be 1.5, 2 hours, 2 hours. So these are almost like, I wouldn't say lectures, but I would split them in half and do them as labs. 45 minutes, something like that. Training loop, same thing. So this would be just like part 2, training loop. And then part 3, compilation. So hopefully by the end of that, you've got something ready for training, or you understand now. You've done the training. I don't know where exactly the training. Yeah, the training's here, actually. So yeah, by the end of this, you would have a little GPT-2. It's so cool. Anyway, so production-focused unfolding. This is the other side of it. So this would be for enterprise deployment. So that would include things like compile, flash attention, gradient checkpointing, things like this. It's mostly for the phase 6, the optimization section, which is obviously a little bit heavy. So traditional documentation follows a single narrative path. Holographic unfolding creates multiple coherent views of the same implementation. It has multi-granularity, so we can do this more than just educational and production. We obviously already have narrative non-fiction, and code writing as other existing types of plan. It's just typically we only use this for code, but it's basically the same, okay? So you want to write tutorials and courses, you want to write full-on enterprise handoff documents. Self-contained coherence. Each view is independently complete. There's no cross-reference between the granularity. Each substage includes, so it's all in one, it includes everything. Can be used without referring to the parent phase. So another, yeah. Let's see who's here. Zeus, hello again. Welcome. Audience specific. So we can, like, who are you writing the guide for? Are you writing it for engineers? Well, you only need the core phases because they know what they're doing. Are you using it for learners? Well, that would benefit from the educational substages. And is this for a production team? Well, that would be what that part is for. Okay. Parallel. Big team. So, the holographic property. Information is encoded at multiple scales. The overview is in phase 0, complete detail in 2 to 6, and then focus detail in substages. Each level contains enough information. Beyond code and narrative, previous applications of tile planning, like I said, we did code generation and narrative prose. Granted, we do it in reverse, but it's essentially the same idea. This project demonstrates more links, the substages if you want to follow them in order, the production substages, a quick start path. This is actually super cool. It did all of this, obviously, right? It did all of this. So the idea is to show that you can take a repo and turn it into this crazy, both a plan to replicate, reproduce for a lab, but also to actually run a full educational course on the subject, because this is like a prime example for it. And then obviously I took the opportunity to use the unfolding method as like a showcase, because it's a really good, like I say, because I think, you run a course on this, it'd be worth a couple of grand, easy. And anyway, it's free. Just do it with Sonnet or something. Do it with Sonnet. Make an agent in Sonnet that teaches you how to do it, and then just go see how far you can get. It doesn't matter if you don't train it. The amount of stuff you'll learn from going through it and watching him write it and having it at the end and understanding it is probably so valuable at any skill level, because it's literally making your own GPT from scratch. And it's a big repo. I also recommend, clearly, it's not about me. All I did was unfold the plans, okay? Which is a cool thing to do, granted, but the real genius is in the author, so please acknowledge Mr. Karpathy for his contribution, because, yeah, that's what makes it possible. Anyway, yeah, holographic unfolding and swarm agents is what we use to make this one. So you can find that at NanoGPT Crispy. Why is it crispy? Because this is v 1.0.0. So if you're watching this later, check the main branch, because it's probably not the one we're looking at right now. There will be future branches. The main will always be the most up to date. So at the moment, it's just a tutorial. There's no code here yet. It may be that I try to put something together so there's like a little thing you can use to sort of... We'll see. But V1 will always be what you're looking at right here, which is the clean copy. I try to do that. I try to follow the substages sometimes in the zero numbers. Anyway, so that's NanoGPT Crispy. So hopefully I will deep fry it one day. But we haven't actually put the ingredients in the pan yet, so we'll see what happens with that one. Cascade Edit. Now, this one I showed off on the Discord, so I can show a little preview of what this one does. It's just a little tool to help with testing things. So Cascade Edit is still in development, but what it does, you can use it to compare 4 API models at once, but it uses my Uno. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Can I like move it around? Okay, so yeah, Cascade Edit. What you do is you select 4 open router models just by copying in the model names, and then you type a bunch of stuff, and when you double enter, it will send it for being made. And what we're testing is the system prompt I use for the Unified Narrative Operator to find what is the cheapest, fastest, best output for the pros, because all of these are between 1 and 3 cents per book. So the chances are we can do stuff for like a fraction of the cost. And I want to make another app like the one we're going to be looking at in a minute. You know, I want to make another app basically which is going to do more stuff like the editing process, evolving the buckets for the stories, essentially just like the post-processing for the draft work, right? I want to make drafting work tools next. So this is an evaluation tool really, so that I can see with my custom agent stuff, what am I going to get? And then I can be like, this model's good, this model is weird. You know what I mean? So far, DeepSeek seems to be the cheapest, but Grok 4 Fast is the fastest. I know it sounds obvious, but the difference between the two is, I think this is like 10 or 11 cents per million out, and Grok 4 is 50. So there's a big difference. I think these are like 30 and 40 or something. They're all pretty cheap, right? Considering that you normally pay between, normally it's around $5 for a million tokens out. So if you can get it for 50p, that's actually amazing. And fast is fast as well. So I do recommend Grok 4 Fast. And it seems to listen to our code, you know, our programming. He seems to listen to it. So far so good is all I'll say. But for more on that, check the benchmarks, because I did release the benchmarks. Did we actually? Yeah, remembering NSL benchmark. So now we're getting towards the main event. So what I did, to save everybody time, we used the swarm to write the last machine. Okay, so the swarm wrote the last machine, which you can read. It's in the repo, remembering NSL benchmark. Why remembering? Because the last line should be, the remembering had just begun, hence the name of the book, the remembering. However, different LLMs interpret the programming differently, so it gives you a nice little insight into what you're going to get depending on which model you use. So we've already gone ahead and done the entire process for written the same exact book 6 times as a benchmark for the tool we're going to look at. And it includes, like I said, it's not just the NSL. I've included the NSL file, which is a special file format of what's in the bucket. But the bucket is a bit more comprehensive because it'll capture everything from that book. And like a rag style, I guess you could call it. But then the actual story is in this zip. It's pretty easy when you see the UI to understand. So, all right, let's go to the website. I think we've done all the intro stuff. Good times. So where is the model that we're looking at? I think it's just a web. Yeah, it's just a web URL. Hold up. Boop. Here it is, guys. I'm proud to present Spittoon Scribe, which is Narrative Spittoon Inversion 3.0, based on the NSL format. You can find the NSL standard in my GitHub. So if you want to build writing apps, you can use the same standard and the same techniques. It's quite interesting. We've got a little donation thing at the top. I'm going to be sorting that out. I haven't updated it for years. I'm going to be sorting it out. But here it is. So let's just get ourselves a ticket real quick. And how about we use Grok 4 Fast for this? I'll just copy it in from a note somewhere, you know. The way you get these is you go to OpenRouter, go on the models, and there's a little copy link. You'll understand it's a lot like Hugging Face. You know, they've got the same kind of deal. I'm not going to upload a bucket. I'm just going to start a new project. I'll call it a demo. Now you can do the 20 questions interview, but that'll take about half an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download a law book from one of my public. Yes. I'll download a law book from one of my public repos so we can have a look and see here. So I think if I go into default, I think default is Westwick. Do we have a law book for Westwick? Or is it the whole thing? This has already been split. There's no law book. Hang on, I'll keep looking until I find a law book, guys. It's got to be one. None of these written on a... Did I not... The fatal flaw. None of these were written on a law book. You just came up with it. Yeah, probably. Oh. Bucket. Buckets. What? Repos. There we go. Okay, now there's got to be one in here. There's got to be a law book in one of them. Wouldn't it be funny? I just never saved the law book. Not that one. Not that one. We've looked at that now. Okay. Default world. Yeah. See, it depends when I made these. These ones were quite early. So there might not actually be a law book. It's kind of funny. Aha! Mars law book. Right. Finally. So if I copy this and bring it back to our app, we can skip the interview, see? If you want to do the interview, I think it's the best way to start a book from scratch, because you can use any notes or thoughts you have to just go ahead and create, right? But we're going to use import existing to simulate the fact that you've already got some research and you want to use that instead. So this is going to be a previous story we've worked on. It draws inspiration from the Andromeda Strain and Alien, H.P. Lovecraft, cosmic horror. So the first thing it's going to do once you've put it in, it's going to say generate the artifacts. So it's going to interrogate your law book and give you world, characters, speech styles, okay? And it's pretty good. We tested it a bunch of times. It works really well. Now this is going to give you your what I call dry story. It's going to give you that first 6-page artifacts, right? The first 6 pages, and they are actually chapters. So that will be the full book. And then what we do is we're going to bring out the Uno suite. The Uno suite is coming up. And the idea is you'll be able to put both the NSL file that you can save from this and the pages. And, well, you'll put in one page at a time is the theory, right? Never. Okay. So as you can see, it gives you a little preview now, which I really like. And you can edit it. And it does allow you to save it. See, there were little bits that were missing, you see. But yeah, like I said, you can check this. You can edit it before proceeding, which you couldn't do before. Now I'm going to simulate that I know that everything is good, and we're going to move on. But if I look here, this, I know what this law book is. This is accurate. It's not made up stuff. It's doing the thing. Do you know what I mean? It's doing the thing. Okay. And like I said, I should have a ticker actually. Wait a sec. We've already started, I know, but look, I want to show you. Because this blew our minds last night. Do we have dark mode for this? Ugh. Oh man, is there not a dark mode? You got a dark mode? There it is, dark mode. My retinas. So anyway, we've got 11:67 on the clock. 11:67 on the clock, all right? No, I'll admit, we've already done this, but trust me, it won't make a difference. So go on. So I've approved that. And now we generate the technical artifacts. So that's the extra artifacts prompt, which is going to interrogate what we've just made, generate diagrams, specifications, and a glossary. Now, why do we do this every single time and not just keep them always? It's better to have the law book up to date, because when you do the book summary at the end, that's the new law book. Okay. And if we extract all of this stuff every time and just check it, it's more relevant to the book we're about to write. So it stops you from just writing the same book over and over and over again. Now, obviously, if you wanted to do that, like Scooby-Doo, you could obviously just have an NSL. You just import the NSL and just click go. And it will just make the same story over and over and over again with the same, you know, if that's what you're making, it'll do that. But anyway, so we've got all of our mermaids now. So as you can see, we've got the factions, we've got the locations map. We go into different things. We've got technology specs. Okay, everything's in JSON and Mermaid, which is nice for the AI. If we're not happy with them, we can generate them again. But anyway, we're going to save and continue. This is quite a cool part as well, right? When you come to this section here, narrative Spittoon, we've got view template, which is what it's going to put in. Okay, you can just put them all in one go, or you can put them in individually. And what I say is you can edit the template before it goes in. So say you've got a different ghostwriting template like we've shown. You can chuck that in there and it'll install that instead. But I'm going to just show you how to go on. So we've got, it's all correct. This is exactly what I want. Now we're going to generate the manifest. Now this is something which might disappear in the next NSL format because I got plans to make this even better. But for now, you have to create a project manifest, which is going to create a little list of meta information about everything in your bucket. All right, and this is what gets loaded into the context primarily. And if it needs information from any of these things, it's going to look in there more deeply. But it saves you a little bit of overhead when you're writing. But it does mean he knows exactly where everything is, how everything is. He understands it in very fine detail due to all of the JSONs and the mermaids and all this different stuff. It's all cross-referenced and everything else. So obviously you might want to check that. And once you finish, or you might want to edit it. But the bottom line is, so if you see something obvious that's wrong, you can actually just go in and edit it. Like I said before, you didn't have this sort of ease of use. So it really does make the UI a good application for this. All right. So now we get to the ending. Now, obviously, if you've got your own ending written, you can write your own and just copy it in here for the final page. See, we write our story backwards with this tool. So it's going to write one page at a time backwards. And when I say page, I mean chapter, because how long is a page to an AI? It's just a file, isn't it, right? But we're going to use generate with AI just to show you, you know. And like I said, it would have taken maybe a minute to get to this point. Now, it's really annoying. It streams the final page, but it doesn't stream the rest of them. And I could have probably spent more money on getting it to actually stream the last page. You know what I mean? It was really annoying. I'm like, yes, it looks great. And then the next ones, you'll see it's a bit boring. But you do get the text back when it comes back. So obviously you'd want to give this a read. So this would be the end of the story, the end of book 1. Okay. And there is a trilogy plan in the artifacts that I'm using. But anyway, we will go. Approve. Obviously, we could have regenerated if we wanted. We could have edited if we wanted. It's a lot more easy to use than the VS Code, and it's a lot cheaper. Doing this same exact process with VS Code and Sonnet 4 cost $8, and now you can do it with Grok 4 Fast in a fraction of the time, and it will cost you, well, I'll show you what it'll cost you. We're going to write all of the pages first, and look, these aren't thin pages, so these are respectable pages. So we're going to approve and continue. See, I wanted it to stream, but for some reason he just wants to show a grey space and then whoop. So I'm not going to argue because it's working. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to break it now. It's working well. It's public. I think it's up to date. It should be up to date. Anyone can use it. Just get yourself a key. Do you know, it's so cheap, I might start saying to people, hey, we'll do a competition and give out like a $5 open router API key or something. We'll do some promotions. We'll talk about it after the show on Discord tonight, because I'd be willing to give out $5 API keys. Because the thing is, if you can write a book for 3 cents, a $5 API key will keep you busy for a while. Like if you use it wisely, if you use the credits wisely. Anyway, as I'm showing, we'll go and check in a minute and see what the number was. But I want to write all the pages, and then we'll go and have a look and see what the cost is. Because I need to get more in, you know what I mean? I need to get more data. It was incredibly cheap last night. So we'll just see if it's still cheap now. But the price to beat on the board is $8, not 2 cents. I wouldn't be surprised if the number doesn't really move. But we are using... It should move, I think, by 3 cents. Which I think is the cost of one image from Banana. Can you get a Banana image for 3 cents? Is that about the same in Comfy UI? I forget off the top of my head. It seems like sort of the same kind of money. Like I think Context Pro is like 7 cents. And then, you know, obviously we're talking about images, not video, right? But just talking about API. So say approve, generate page 0. Look at it flying through. Grok is fast, man. I was joking about it that every time I tried to go and make coffee, it would come up and say the next button, the next page. And I'd have to... So here we go. Approve. Proceed. Download the pages. Download the zip. That's the full bucket for the traditional method and all the tools that we have at the moment. And then export as NSL, which is going to be compatible with this system. Now, I would recommend evolving the NSL according to a summary of the story before you do book 2. We've already showed how to do that. I'm going to provide a system like this for doing it soon. But at the moment, that gives you everything. So if we just go and have a look at what we got, we now have the demo story, which is the story folder with all of the pages that we wrote. Okay. We also have the demo bucket, which contains all of the lore book and all of the characters and all of that information. So we didn't have to actually do a lot of work here. It simplifies it it's so simple. It's like, because I did a 2-hour, no, what? This was like a 4-hour tutorial, and now we can do it in 5 minutes for 3 cents. I'm going to check the price in a second, okay? So we also have the demo NSL. Now remember, NSL is just an XML format. So if you want to throw it into an AI, it's possible to just use .xml and then just rename it back at the end. As long as it doesn't break the formatting, it's going to be fine. Anyway, this is fine. So let's see what was the cost. 6,000 words, 6 pages. What was the cost? 11.67. 2 cents, guys. I'm thinking narrative time. Guys, it's 2 cents. You saw it, right? It's 2 cents to write the book. And the tool is free. Just put your own key in it. 2 cents to write the book. I don't know how much the interview process takes. It's probably a little bit more if you do the interview because it's 20 questions. It's a proper 20 questions interview, right? But if you bring your own bucket, like I just did, it's 2 cents. Should we go again just to prove it? I think we should go again just to prove it. Yeah, let's go again just to prove it because, you know, maybe that was a fluke, right? How about we pick a different bucket this time? How about instead of Mars, have we got a narrative, but have we got a law book for Collector? Because that would be fat. Glamorgoon Race, JSON, Glamorgoon Plan. Could it be that one? Oh, this one comes with a page 5 as well. I don't want to. It's just that's just the No, we can't use that one. Right, next. Law book. I can't believe I didn't put the law book in there. I probably never even thought about it. Emissary, Countess, Story Supplement. Oh, wait a minute. That's a law book. All right. We will copy that. So we're going to do Empire using only the book 1 and nothing else, which is kind of interesting. So Empire. Oh my God, I want to try something experimental. Empire prequel. I want to do something experimental, guys. Where's my grok thing? See, the only thing I don't like is it doesn't have a memory, you know, because it's like, I don't want your data, so it doesn't remember anything. You know, you have to type it in. But I guess it's one small price to pay for privacy, right? One small step. So again, how do you know how to get models? Whoa, make a new page. I want to keep that there for control. So if I type in here grok, it's going to come up with loads of groks. How do you know which one is the best? You don't. But this thing here, the context being bigger, makes it easier for writing big complex stuff because it doesn't have to squeeze, it can just fit. Other thing, output tokens is really what you want to watch out for. Okay, as you can see, grok 4 fast is sitting there at 50 cents, which is nice. So all we need to do is click this button, copy, and then that's what you need for the app. You know, you just plug that there. It's a standard thing, like Hugging Face, you know. That's the repo, I guess you could call it, or model name, right? Okay. So Empire prequel, start a new bucket, say continue. I'm going to import my existing page, which we were just looking at. So Operation Anchor. So that's probably from the end of book 1, which is kind of interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, where is it? There. Paste it in. It's got all my characters. Okay. Save and continue. Generate. And quick, get the price. 11.65. 11.65. That's the number on the wall, is 11.65. Okay. Grok 4 fast. Narrative Inversion 3.0. And we're going to use a summary that was taken from the end of writing a book I already wrote as the law book. So it's a little bit different, but it'll still work fine. I say prequel because obviously it's going to be a completely different story, right? Anyway, I don't know if it'll work, but like if I put the first page of this story in as the last page, I'm just wanting to have fun and see what we'll do. You know, it might go nuts and make something crazy, but to be honest, it's 2 cents. So if I go into the world, it's got the universe of Operation Anchor. Oh crap, I just clicked the wrong button. Getting old. Clicked the wrong thing. I meant to click that. So anyway, it's going to generate them again, that's not smart. Well, I suppose we can look at them until then. So yeah. Colonel Reginald Sterling Ironside. What a great name. Dimensional lock. Yeah. It's got all the stuff in there. Hopefully the next one isn't broken. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good, and yeah, it looks good. So I'm going to go to the next step. Go to the technicals. So that's, like I said, this is the original create artifacts from Lawbook prompt, and then this is the extra artifacts from what was made prompt that we already had. Well, it's quite funny. What I did was I condensed the entire system into a single prompt, which works but costs $8. But building it into this app, now it costs 2 cents. So I'm like really happy with it. I'm happy everyone can use it. If you're interested, the URL is obviously listed in the Discord, but you'll find it at spittoon-scribe.originai.com. Put it on high definition and zoom in. Anyway. So we've got our technical artifacts. That'll be a bunch of mermaids, which the LLMs do love so, and a bunch of JSONs, which also locations, technology, squad members, and the Empire prequel glossary, which usually it has special terms, so that he'll use those. We'll save that. So our RAG is basically built, but now we have some frameworks to install, as I said before. Narrative Spittoon is the core framework. It tells him things like but, because, but, therefore. Okay, so create more immersive show, don't tell narrative. I don't know what it says. Yeah, eliminates explicit causal connectors. I don't know, it seems like he's doing it backwards there. It says do. Okay, she walked faster because she heard footsteps behind her. No. Footsteps echoed behind her. She quickened her pace. Yes, is essentially what we're doing. I got it from a South Park lecture. Or from the, the same guys that wrote South Park years and years ago. Anyway. So you can also edit them first. So if you've written your own custom ghostwriting style, which we've shown on the channel a bunch of times, you can do that too. The holographic tutor, there's a new holographic tutor v2, which I couldn't find. He's somewhere hidden in my repos. But I guess that's what happens. So we're going to install them all. And then generate manifest. I would say when you're doing this, everything's in the browser, which is why we've made a local fork of this, which does it actually on the hard drive. But that's more for Olama implementation, which is coming soon. So at the moment, this is cheaper and easy. I mean, 2 cents, you can't really beat that. It's crazy. And it works very well. So yeah, like I said, we've got all of our stuff explaining what everything is. Shall we try doing the last page thing? I feel like it might be a bit fun. Let's go to Empire. Does it have the story though? No, there's no story. I don't have page 1. Nuts, it's just the buckets. Empire. No, nothing on Empire. What about narrative? Probably spell it correct. Narrative. Repos 6. Uno, Spittoon, buckets. Where's the books repo? Gotta remember what I called it. What did I call it? Stories? 3. Lost Tales. Yes, but no. What about books? I think I'm being secretive again. Okay, so forget that. I'm not trying to make it too complicated. I was imagining put the first page of the book as the last page with write your own, and then he's going to make the book backwards, and he's going to basically write you a prequel, isn't he? Which was the idea when I first named it. But since I can't find the books and I'm not wasting your time, we're just going to generate a new book. Because that's what we're really here to do, is to find out, does Needle move though? I'm predicting 63. Let's see if I'm right. It could be 62, maybe, because maybe there's like a decimal rollover, but 2 or 3 cents is what I will imagine. So let's just have a look at this. This is the last page of the story, so it's a good idea to check it, because obviously when you write backwards, everything that they describe having happened here is likely to be explained in the story, right? So you kind of cap off the story in past tense, like, oh, we did such a great job saving the princess from that evil wizard. Yeah, or whatever it is. Do it in a little bit more finesse, but essentially that's how you would write your last page. Cap off your story nicely, do your little walk into the sunset. Okay. The Empire turned. They turned with it. Cool. All right, so we continue. So it's looking good. A poor old generation with no dark mode and CRT. Well, I think the thing is, the CRT helped with the glare. It wasn't so bad. I think the glare is worse with high def, because you get like a solid white. It's like, whoa, that is super white. But when it had like the flickering, it was like not as bad on the eyes, I think. But I don't know. What do I know? Nostalgia's a powerful thing. Like, I used to play Tony Hawk's Skateboarder on a screen that was maybe a little bit, probably smaller than the top half of a smartphone now. That was the thing that I had my PlayStation plugged into. It was like a tiny little travel TV, because you couldn't have... Anyway, they were expensive, man, those old TVs. It's the LCDs that made it all cheap. Anyway. But yeah, you're not wrong. I would say, though, the CRT effect is actually kind of nice with things like pixel art. It'll do stuff to pixel art, which you can exploit when you're animating. Which is why I think sometimes if you're going to play an old game, you've got to have the CRT and probably the right color palette as well. The color palette is a big deal too, because the artists put a lot of effort into those choices. The blue light of the LED is not good. Well, yeah, I mean, frequencies affect the brain. Makes sense, right? Okay. Indeed. I hope you can appreciate it's pretty fast. You might say, what's the quality like? Go and have a look on the benchmark. That's why we put it up there. Different model gives you a different result, but we're just trying to show that the system works and takes a lot of the pain out of it. That's another story done. Okay. And if you wanted to get in there and micromanage it, you can. There's editors in every step of the process. You want to use your own custom files, you can. The NSL system. So let's just show that. Now, this is the bit that is a bit ropey, so I hope it works. If I say upload NSL bucket, let's pick the Empire prequel that we just created. So it's going to say files will extract, will start. So it has to actually auto-generate some of the artifacts, because they're not included in the format because you create them. Because you may have made some changes for the next book, so obviously it's going to recreate certain things, like if a character's had his eye poked out, for example, that won't be in there, but when we regenerate, it will be in there because it's a new file, and yeah, so it's kind of part of the system. But if we do this, and then we get our grok. I mean, it's 10 times cheaper I think it's 10 times cheaper than Sonnet. And for writing, it's giving good results. Can you say it's better? Subjective. It's shorter, but it's a lot faster, and it's 10 times cheaper, which makes it much more practical. Oh yeah, price check. Sorry, guys. Dude, it went down by 1 cent, okay? Which is why I can't wait to start applying my narrative upscaling tools to this, because instead of paying like, $8 to get it all done, or whatever it was, now it's going to be like 80 cents, maybe even 8 cents. So yeah, I'm quite encouraged. So tonight we're going to be expanding this one considerably, because it's like, before it used to cost a lot of money. You'd have to have a monthly sub or API. And yeah, the API here is good, but it's like, anyway. So let me just see. So I put a lot into building this so that it would be cheap to run. So this is nice. Like I said, it's a public tool. Anyone can use it. So let's try importing an NSL that we've previously made, yeah? It's going to generate the speech styles and other missing artifacts that aren't included in the format because the tool is designed to make them. And it's going to pop us straight to here. Now, I think part of the reason why I already see the page data is because it's caching in the browser and it does recognize the project. Okay. Now, the web version doesn't have like a project manager. The local one does, but that's the problem with forking. All right. I didn't put it in this version because you don't really need it for the web version, I don't think. If you were to come into a clean web with like just the NSL, you'll get this far, but you won't have the pages. But it doesn't matter because we're going to regenerate them anyway, right? So obviously if I click regenerate, it's going to give me a new final page using all of the same characters, world, and everything else. So say you were making a story about Zero Dark 30, an SAS team operating behind enemy lines, and all you do is change the country that they operate in for a different sortie. You write the book, it has all the characters, and then you could write like, 4 different books with different countries. Obviously they're like a bit Scooby-Doo because we're not doing the update in between, but it would be as though nothing major happens, like a TV show. So nothing really major happens. They have some trials and tribulations, but at the end they're basically at the starting point, like The Simpsons or something like that. So it'd be easy to use this system for something like that. So we're going to approve this and go to page 4, and then the process is the same. So now we're making another, an alternate version of the first story. So for things like cartoons and TV shows, anything that's serialized where you want to return back to the same origin point every time is perfect. Obviously, we're going to release an evolution tool that allows you to do proper sequences with continuity. So it'll summarize what you wrote and update the NSL. So then when you come back in, it's aware of the new starting point, right? And then you can do proper trilogies. We've already showed it off. It works great. So I'm going to say approve and go to page 3. And it's going to, I know it's a bit confusing because it kind of thinks we've already written all the pages. But if you go to page 5 and hit regenerate, it'll just go through the whole thing again and write you all new pages. Okay. Don't get confused and hit there because it'll be very confusing. Make sure you get and do page 0. But yeah, this is nice. The only difference with the Olama version is you have to have a chunking system that is assembling everything. Yeah, because the context window is an issue. Yeah, $8. Yeah, the $8 was worth. Well, no, that was using the all-in-one prompt, Fernie. The $8 was using the all-in-one prompt with VS Code and Klein, which is the previous method I recommend, right? But this tool does it for a fraction of the cost, in a fraction of the time. And say there's a new model that comes out tomorrow, Grok 5 fast, or whatever, yeah? You just change that and off you go. And it's up to you how much you want to spend. If you want to spend it on the... Do you know what, right? I was actually laughing with the guys in the chat last night because you want to see this. You want to see this, right? We'll take this off, yeah? So we're here going, oh yeah, 0.5. Oh my God, it's such a dream. And then if you look at something like... Wait, go to popular. Reset filters. Newest, no. Top weekly. Right, so we got code fast 1. Which is 150. I've got Sonnet 4. Look, Sonnet 4.5. That's what I use to build stuff. It's 15 per million. 15. So that's why we were paying $15 per million tokens to test it. Right? So that's why it cost $8. But you can just run it on Grok Fast. But no, there's actually something funnier than that. So still 15 per million on the out for Sonnet 4. I think Haiku is a bit cheaper. Where's Haiku? There's Grok 4 Fast. That's the boy at the moment. That's my favourite. I do like this one. Not this one. A different one. I think, no, actually, wait. I think it might have been that one. It's got the roleplay tag, see? Some of them have got training for certain things, so they can do more. Here we go. Haiku 4.5, right? Haiku is $5, not 15. 3 times cheaper. This is why I was building my swarm, because I was like, $15 for one sonnet or $5 for 3 haikus and a swarm. I know it's a thin swarm, but anyway. DeepSeek is $1, which is actually more. 3.1. 3.7 sonnet, again, 15. GPT-5, is this the one? No, there's another one somewhere. There's a GPT-5 Pro. So that's $10. No. See, OpenAI have the record. Where is it? Looks like no one uses it. GPT-5. Oh, GPT-5 Nano. At the 0.4. I've no idea how good some of these are, by the way. I haven't had a chance to check them all out, right? There's so many. But the point is there's so many and you can just try them out. And this is why I made that tool with the 4-up grid where we can put 4 things in, type of thing, and have it do the upscaling, because that's my next big task, is to sort out the upscaling. Can we find it? It's not even there, dude. Do we have like a recent? Because I think I put it on top. Newest. Granite. Image mini. GPT-5 image. OpenAI O3 deep research is $40 per million. Now we're getting into the big money, boys. This model always uses web search tool. $40 per million, guys. But it is an official OpenAI O3 deep research endpoint. So it's like that's all it does. And then there's a mini deep research, which is $8. So that's probably a bit more realistic. I wouldn't mind checking that out. Let's open that up real quick. So again, you just copy it and use it. I mean, I wouldn't do that for writing a book, okay? But that's interesting. Where is the proper... here it is. Found it. GPT-5 Pro for 120. So we're sat here going, 0.50. Oh, that's great. That's much cheaper than the 5 or 15 we normally pay. GPT-5 Pro is the most advanced OpenAI model. $120 per million outputs. So I hope he gives you short answers, because it's going to get expensive real fast. You know, some of the stuff we do would cost $1,000 with this model. You know, just per project, $1,000 per project. You know, so yeah. I mean, I hope it's good. Is all I'll say. I haven't tried it. I think this is more for generating synthetic data for training, and big companies will use this for that. I think is, but what do I know? I just have a suspicion that's what it'll be. This is the one we used. This is the one that we used for the role play, for the writing. Because look, it's only 0.4. I remember we used a cheap one. Same with the Drummer Sidonia. This is only 0.5, and this one is a creative writing model. So, you know, we got a bit of a sample in those ones I recommended in the Discord. If you look at the announcement, it'll be in inside line. You'll find a link to the tool, which should be up for a limited time. I don't know how long. It depends how many people use it, doesn't it? If people don't use it, it goes away, because obviously that's how the Lovable do their hosting. But we've recommended a bunch of good models here. Okay, so let's get back to the business. Approve and complete story. Proceed. Download, download, download. That's 3 books done. And that would be coffee time.
Alex, the rest of your eminence deal.
I'll be right back.
Enemies marked south. It's not smash the demo. It's just. Say, Mom, I'm buying whenever it goes miss. Just if you want to get the life, you can keep it check. I'm fine, that's a song. Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. There's no crossfade. I probably could fiddle around, but I got like 3 mice already. I don't want to blow my mind too much. Right, so yeah, here we are with the thing. We just basically created another story. So we've now created like, we've created a bunch of stuff. All right. Now, it's kind of crazy. Should we have a look at the price? What did we call? What was the cost? Yeah, I think it moved by 2 cents that time. I think since the last time. So yeah, I think we've proven that now. So it's most likely going to actually be cheaper than that, which is kind of cool. And like I said, you can start from scratch with the 20 questions. You can bring your own stuff. You can change all the files. You can edit all the pages. So all that's left now, this is actually done. It's done and it's solved, and it costs you a couple of cents now to get started. So what I'm going to now offer is it's going to cost a couple of cents to do the Uno with the echo and the in-painting process, because we can automate that. And then you can go, here's my page, makes you the new. Here's my page, makes you the. So it's possible to get it to the next stage, because I always say this creates the dry narrative and we can make it wet, which is what we're going to do. We're going to make it wet, page by page. That'll be the next app. But I'm still working on turning it into an all-in-one process, which I can test. We'll probably do that live after the show later. Because like I said, I'm trying to polish everything up into a bunch of web tools, which you can bring your own key and you can use my stuff without having to, have credits and a subscription. I don't need your data, guys. I just want you to use the tools because they're cool and they work really well. And I can't write all of you. You know what I mean? You guys can write your stories. Yeah? I've showed you how easy it is to get it up and running. And there's so many different applications for this. Now, I'll admit, this is kind of fixed in two things. It's fixed in the way that it does the story wheel, okay? So the manual process allowed you to do things other than Campbell's Hero's Journey, okay? So this is kind of fixed in Campbell's Hero's Journey, but I find it's a good structure for most stories. So I think it's okay. But if you want to do the old manual technique, or you have the all-in-one prompt, which is going to get published, by the way, it's coming up soon, then you'll be able to just modify that bit of text, and then it will do save the cat or whatever it is that you're trying to do. The other thing that it's fixed with, there was another thing it was fixed with, is the number of chapters or pages. This is fixed in the 6-page prompt, which is how that system was automated. That's my favorite sort of default. Obviously, if you're doing the manual all-in-one prompt, which is coming, you're going to see that you can just change the numbers. A lot of people, I think Fernie uses a much longer one because he uses it with Gemini, which I think gets around short outputs. Smart. Nice practical workaround. So if you find that the output is quite thin, you just increase the number of pages. It's a beautiful workaround. I've got to give credit. It's very practical. But anyway, there are examples in the main repo. But yeah, the NSL standards are looking really good. NSL 1.1 is the classic. So NSL 1 is going to be the single book format that we've always done. 1.1 supports chapters. And I'm working on a 2.0 format, which will allow you to do the more up-to-date YAML header style, because it'll eliminate project instruction step, and it should make it easier to function with local models. Because at the moment, we have a context issue. We need a big context window to make this work, unfortunately. But again, if it's only 2 cents to write a book with Grok, why am I even using my silicon for that? In a way, I'd rather just pay the 2 cents and not use my GPU. I can use my GPU for something else, like generating the images or something. I don't know. Okay. That is narrative Spittoon inversion, guys. So what's coming up next? There's no music anymore. We need to fix the radio show. I am slowly fixing the websites, guys, but we've got some SSL problems which we've got to clear out. I had to wait 24 hours, but the websites are slowly coming back online, and then we'll be able to start building new services and stuff. I've got so many crazy ideas, because we're going to put, this is the thing, we're going to put Claude Code on my server, okay? So the website will actually have AI in it. It won't just be, I'm not going to make it like a chat bot where you can talk to it. That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is he's going to be writing new pages and stuff. He's going to be doing stuff in the background while we're sleeping, like we planned. The robot team's sitting there. He's even able to post stuff to Discord. He'll be able to go, I just wrote a new page. It's up. Do you know what I mean? This is the sort of, but this is what I'm trying to get to. Okay, put it all together. Those SSL, they need to put their things together. Yeah, we'll sort it out. I just need to run certbot because we updated all of the IP addresses, so it's all on the new servers. Anyway, so Nexus Voxel is what we're going to be looking at. Hybrid Swarm Agent should be working now, so we might have a little bit of fun with that. And the Cascade stuff, I'll show that tomorrow, because to be honest, I've only just finished building it and I want to make some more tweaks. Spittoon Scribe is up, done, all right, but we're working on the local fork now, so it's not going to come out, because this is like the Lovable repo that's connected to the Lovable project where we started it off. Obviously check out the NSL benchmarks. Don't forget Cognition 9. There's some really cool stuff in Cognition 9. That's where we discovered the swarm, which is super cool. The Landlocked storyline. Should we publish Landlocked, guys? We wrote it live on stream. I see no reason why not. There's no README. Oh, I know why. It's because I haven't actually released the narrative Spittoon. Right. Okay. Hang on. We'll sort this out. You can't do it. I can't do everything at once. That's the trouble. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, I've got to test it first. Well, I think I've tested it works. Okay. So where the hell is it? NSL, narrative Spittoon language private. Right. So that needs to go public. It's got to read me. It's explained. Is it cited correctly? Author names. Citation format, author names. Well, my name's there, okay? It's good enough. It's good enough. You'll spend forever polishing it, you know, if you're not careful. All right, let's go live with NSL narrative Spittoon language. Change visibility to public. We'll say public. I got to get my thing here. Yes, public. Yes. Release time. Release time. What are we doing? That one. That one. Shit, it changed again. Oh no! Everyone saw my key. Okay. That's now done, so we'll do a little publish on that one. Let's see. Hello. Hello, everybody. There it is. NSL specification standard. Narrative bucket. Narrative bucket XML format. So the idea is, as we said before in previous shows, if you have an XML format, then you've already predefined what it is. And that means somebody else can just come along and write an app, you know, to do whatever he wants, and it will integrate. That's the idea. So you define the standard first. So this standard is a container for a complete narrative bucket, which is used with narrative Spittoon inversion. So then we actually wrote the tool using a combination of the specification and then the new NSI v3 single prompt, which is right here. Narrative Spittoon inversion v3. If you actually look at the prompt, check it out. It's a complete process guide that literally explains everything. It eliminates drift, guys. Imagine me, Drift Johnson, eliminating drift. But anyway, it's kind of like wrong. But as you can see, knowledge gathering, 20 questions interview. Obviously some changes have been made to allow the UI to work properly. So, but this here is an automated process that you could run with a VS Code or a cursor or whatever, and it's going to fully automate everything from scratch, right? 20 questions, build the bucket, and then generate the last page if you don't have one. You know, what it literally says is, if there is nothing in story page 5, and you're just going to make yourself, it's going to do it itself. So that is now done. Narrative Spittoon language, and now that's been done, that means we can give out the story Landlocked, which is our little Halloween special. So as you can see, we have the bucket, which is the full story. I think it does have a landlocked NSL, so we could load landlocked into the tool and create another haunted house story. Do you see what I mean? I could edit this to change the names and the places and things, you know. Like I said, I want to make an editor that allows you to reimagine an NSL, because that's all easy to do. Now you've got this structured format, you see. It can just pull world, regenerate world, and then you've got a new world. And yeah, I'll probably make an NSL viewer which shows you what's in the NSL, and then you have generate buttons, reimagine, and of course it's all linked. But anyway, good stuff for the future. There's also an NM3 if you like those, but there's also an MD. Like I said, we're giving away all kinds of different things. But yeah, let's we should probably make a readme for this. Man, there's always something missing, isn't there? Hang on, what's this? This is basically, I mean, it's better than nothing, right? So what I'll do is I'll copy the raw file, make a file, and we'll replace it later. We'll call it readme.md. We'll put the whole thing in there and then add my, where is it? I've been trying, guys. I know everyone keeps telling me to do this and I'm just bad at it. All right, so I'm getting better at doing it. So I'm going to put the thing in with the citation. It's a good point. I never do. It's like not on my, I don't even think about it. So I really should do that. So I appreciate the feedback. I'm getting it done. So end of narrative map. This isn't really a readme either, so it's a bit sort of strange, but it'll work. So we take the landlocked there. Go landlocked, and landlocked, lowercase. Okay, and it's an horror story in reverse. Obviously, it's not really in reverse. You read it forwards, but it was written in reverse. Horror story written in reverse. There we go, that's better. Let's change this, just add that up there as well. Horror story written in reverse. There we go. Yes. Okay. Still private. I'll update the readme later. This is good though. The content is good. Oh good, it remembered it's me for once. That's nice. Okay, so Landlocked is now out. Spooky, maybe. The spooky grotesque story. Halloween Writers Club special. Landlocked. It's basically creepypasta, alright? It's not... but we do it for fun, right? I mean, you could call it a horror benchmark, but I wouldn't even do that. So, written live. Written on live show. Full release. What was it? Built with NSI 3.0 AIO prompt and Sonnet 4.5, so that was $8. Yeah, you see, that's where we got that from, I'm sure. like double confirmed, because I've done it multiple times to prove it's not just this and that, you know what I mean, to learn what the actual up and down variance is for a given sample that I've got under control. So I think I got this pretty good. Obviously, if you're writing super long stories, it's going to scale proportionally, right? Well, maybe not proportionally. So I'd be careful, but I'm doing reasonably sized outputs, which is not bad. But then again, like I say, turns out Grok 4 is the boy. Might just start using that more, because I'm not doing coding all the time. Sometimes it's like, just write my readmes. You know, there's literally no need. Anyway, getting off topic. So, landlocked, full release. Story, bucket, spec, the process itself. So that would be the actual prompt. Okay. Another one in the bag, as they say. Another one. So yeah, Cascade Edit will be tomorrow. Don't forget to check out the Remembering Benchmarks. Don't forget to check out Cog9. Right, so we're basically back to where we were at. Oh boy. So this is where the fun begins for me. Like I say, demo time is done. So where are you? Where are you? So many projects. Neural Cogito Core. Got a funny name, isn't it? Yes. We're not doing that. We're doing... Oh, should we do Doom Quest? Hang on, I just need to see where this is at. Okay, shotgun. The map design's a bit weird. And the inversion... Oh! The guns! The guns don't work! Oh! Maybe a pistol will work better. Oh no! Oh no! Unboxed! Okay. Game has issues, but, you know, with textures, this could be quite interesting. But no, this isn't what I want to look at either. That's just a flight of fancy to see whether it would work or not. And it does kind of work. Anyway. So, here we are, back in the canvas. But there's some differences now. He's got AI. So, how about we give him a key? Everybody look away. Don't look at my key. Ah, the ultimate doxing. That's the best doxing I've ever seen, don't you think? You put the key in and it pastes it as, because remember, anything you paste is created as a thing. Give me a sec. It's still kind of partially obscured by what happened there. But that's hilarious because it's too close. So let me just delete that. That's no good. I'm not typing it in by hand. I mean, maybe I'll have to type it in by hand for testing. I'll have to do it for testing purposes. So you can't actually... Oh my goodness me. Those codes are long. Oh my days. Oh, I know. I'll do it with right click. Whoa, right click, paste. Yeah. Okay, so no. I'm figuring it out. Paste. Yeah. No. You can't get the focus back to save it. Because the stupid mouse, god damn it. Okay, tab, enter. Haha, okay, right. Sorry, guys. It was a key sensitive period for me. Okay. It was a sensitive time. So I think we got the code in there. So now it's going to dox me again, I'm sure. But can we? Okay, we need to change the preset selection here. I'm just going to tell him to use the one that we've determined is cheap right now. So I'm going to say we can add the option to the model selection. And then it will be obviously the Grok 4. The Grok 4. Where is the Grok 4? It's gone. It's gone. Gotta get it again. Guys are mad. Just gotta get it again. Get me the Grok 4, please. There it is. Copy that. No. 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 Guys. Where the hell is the window gone? It's here. I separated it. Of course I did. We can add the thing to the model selection. That. And make this the default. Just in case that doesn't work. So I'm moving away from populating a big list because there's like 300 of them, right? And it will just like get an API, fetch all the information and bring it back, which is nice because it usually gives you like the pricing information and the context windows and all that stuff. But I'm starting to think I could just let you copy it in as a plain text, and if it's right, it'll work. And it's much easier. So you might say that's lazy. It is. But I'm trying to make it functional first, you know. You could obviously do that kind of flourish anytime you want. Make the text entry into a dynamic list, which is filled by doing an API fetch from the model's endpoint. You know, you can do that, but I don't, you know, it doesn't really, I don't know. You might prefer to just put it in manually and have it remember that. It's quicker. You have to find it in the list. There are like 300 in the list and growing, so there's that. It's got presets anyway, so I've just put in a bunch of them. There's a file which you can obviously edit, but, well, you can't. But when the local version comes out, you'll be able to. So everything is built with that in mind, if you see what I mean. I build all of this stuff with being 0 data, 0 login, web only, API only first. And then we fork it, bring it down, and make it local with Olama. And then it's, like I said, essentially you've just made it free to use. So what's the feature that we're adding to the graph? Because I haven't really explained that. The idea is that we'll be able to prompt any node. So if I was to take, what's this? Oh my goodness, that's a bit dark. Hang on, I need to get something interesting. What's this? Never! Save that. V to make the UI appear. Oh, has it forgotten it already? Hang on. Copy. Paste. Oh. Somehow the UI wasn't being so sketchy. So we've now got Grok 4 Fast hooked up to my canvas. So how about we get some kind of data to practice with? So what about we got anything interesting here? Oh, is there an output in here? No. No. Keep on dancing. Yeah, there's always stuff in here. Okay. Yeah. We'll take the README for 3D web search because it's kind of tangential to what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to go to the README. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to my thing. Not that one. That one, right? And if I can like keep it together for 5 minutes, burp, Perplexity 3D search. Let's just make this bigger because it's not really very obvious what we're doing here. Right, okay. There we go. As Johnson intended, I guess you could say. So this is the Perplexity 3D search visualization. And everything is explained in the README. So we have the README for the app that was already built, which is compatible with the app that we're currently using. That's a clue. Okay. So when you have it running locally, which we don't, right now we're running it remotely, but when you have it running locally, we'd be able to do Perplexity search and it will just make a bunch of, it'll make a bunch of spheres that are the links. Okay. So, built-in search scattering of new node content. But this is kind of a future feature, which it works as a standalone app, and you can save an NM3, and then you can import the NM3 manually into the grid. So it kind of already works, but it's not automated. Now, what I explained at the time is that this 3D search visualization app, it has an API endpoint, which means it's possible to teach this 3D grid world how to have a search function, provided that that is, running. All right, but that's not even what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is, well, actually, I suppose I do have to. If I go into it and press F. Okay, now where has he put the stuff? I don't see it yet. So, yeah, we need to make sure. Ah, wait a minute. There is something there. AI assistant. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Let's see if we can type. We can type, but it's black on black. And then generate node. All right, so I'm going to just say summarize this content for me. Generate. Is it going to work? No idea. Oh, something happened. Oh boy, yeah. Ah, yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Oi, 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 oi. It's giving me weird stuff with the mouse. There we go. So there's definitely some weird mouse stuff going on, but it worked. So summary of the thing. Now is the code in there? Oh, yes, Grok. It did it. This is perfect. So that's a summary, right? Now, obviously, I could have asked something a little bit more complicated. The only thing I've noticed is that the text color is bad. It's black on black. Black on black is no good, guys. We're going to have to fix that. So I think the best way is just to tell him this element is black on black, and then that way he can resolve it rather than, trying to tell him what to do. Tell him what the problem is and say it's undesirable, right? I usually use words like, this is suboptimal. The user cannot read the text. I'll say, everything is working well. Great job. However, one small problem remains. The new prompt entry input field is black on black, which is bad. The users cannot read their prompts. We can resolve this issue by altering one or more colors. I mean, I shouldn't have needed to say that, but it say you wanted to specify, something, you could put that part there. Say, the black's fine, but I want the text in blue or something, or the other way around, whatever it is you want. I'm not going to say it just to see if he can just match the theme of that particular dialogue window. So. Look, it has a white background. No, it doesn't. It has a black background. It's black on black. Wait. So the text area uses BG dark theme, very dark blue, and the text color is also quite dark. Okay, so it wasn't actually black on black, guys. It was technically dark blue and slightly less darker blue. All right? Technically. So. Okay, node editor has a white background, old source. Yeah, it's just a CSS sort of conflict. So he's going to resolve the CSS conflict. So what's he going to do then? He's going to do a dark box that looks out of place. Update all node editor text areas. Apply a light theme to the entire modal. It should be a dark theme actually. So option 1, force light colors. I think it's because he thinks that this menu. So I go E, R, F. See what I mean? I think this should actually be dark mode 2, don't you? I think we should take this opportunity to be like, hang on a minute, mush. Hang on a minute, mush. Oi, give me my mouse back. Right. And that's annoying too. That would be worth fixing. So I'll say the modal should actually be a dark theme to match the scene. Yeah, should actually be a dark theme. We can refactor the node content modal to match this dark theme. See, usually I give him a bunch of really cool ideas like, oh, orange highlights with a transit. But let's just see what he comes up with. I do like orange dark themes because they're color safe, guys. You know, usually some colors aren't good for certain people. So I think orange is I think I read somewhere. You're going to have to tell me I'm wrong because I'm going to keep doing it. If I'm wrong, you're going to have to tell me. I think it's just something I read that's stuck in my brain. Like orange, an orange UI, you know, a dark UI with orange highlights. And, you know, apparently it's good for that reason. It's readable in low light and yeah. I'm just thinking about the accessibility, you know. So, modal has dark background. All text is light colored. The inputs have darker background. Borders between sections. Okay. So the bottom line is I was able to bring in the README with copy paste, because you just copy anything and paste it where you're at, and then go into that and prompt with grok fast, and that's given me this new piece here. Now all I said was summarize it, which is a pretty simple thing, but obviously I think you can imagine it could have done way more than that. So that's a solid basis. I like that. Refactor node editor to dark theme. All right, let's see it then. Oh yeah, I have to press F on it. I forgot. F. Ah, much nicer. Okay. Yeah, much nicer. So you can obviously do tags, change the shape, change the color. If you want to use your own thing, you can do non-uniform scaling on the shape and rotate it. We've put all this different stuff in so you can use it for different things. We have an MCP that will build them out as well. But now you've got the basics. Ask AI to expand and then it will automatically create the node nearby. I don't know how good it is at detecting or where it's... You know what? We might just do another one now. So I'll just say... provide me with potential enhancements to this project. Generate node. Generated. Okay, now can't move. What's that? There's something has appeared at the top of the screen. So it worked. But now I've like been locked out of the UI. It says I'm hovering on a node. I'm locked out. Something happened when I closed this, maybe? And now we've got a ominous black box. Makes me think that something didn't close. Alright, refresh. It's going to lose that. Okay, so how about I just open this, go into it, and then close it. Nothing. Cancel. Nothing. Okay. Write up potential areas for expansion of this project. Can we see if we can break it again? Okay. Oh, it worked that time. It could have just been cached code that broke that. So anyway, it's talking about the Bunraku tool, which I use for the intros and the outros. So that's just a little piece that comes from that, it's just one bullet point from the introduction. Oh, you can see my mouse is screwing up already, look. It needs to be in the middle. It's weird. It's the mouse API. The mouse API is glitchy as hell. I might have to like refactor it. So open it up and what do we get? Potential areas for Bunraku. Let's get rid of that. It's distracting. Whoops. Maybe not quite that, removing the distractions though. Okay, here we go. So potential areas of expansion for Bunraku. Let's zoom in so you can actually read it. There you go. Okay, advanced AI integration. Incorporate more sophisticated natural language. Motion detection. Oh, we've already done that actually. But we could make it better for sure. Animation and rendering, expand emotion aware animation to include procedural generation for facial expressions and physics-based movements, hair and clothing. Hair and clothing simulation would be pretty neat. Ray tracing and WebGL, okay. And then VR. VR, guys, you're going to do VR. Maybe you should make a VR chat app. Maybe you should make a content creation tool. Accessibility and inclusivity. So more language support. Oh my God, I've gone like super low. Whoa. Okay. Collaborate with Discord. Embedded avatars in video calls. That's interesting. Make the avatar able to talk and lip sync with a microphone input. And then it becomes like the next generation of VTuber. Do you know what I mean? Because you could spend forever making a model. You can even make them motion track you and everything. Does make you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway. So yeah, I think you can see. Well, I've managed to get myself super disoriented. Okay, there we go. Right. Whoop. So I think you can see. Whoa! Look at that cool text column. I love it. When you get like a bunch of nodes like this, you end up with like all these big columns of floating text that just sort of follow you around. It's kind of cool. But anyway, you can see this is working. I hope. Yeah. I wonder if it's possible to make multiple connected, you know what I mean? So like take the search and then run the extraction on it like the MCP. But then I guess you'd have to give it, that's interesting. So I could take an MD output and I could have a button send to MCP. And if the MCP is running, it could make a new NM3, which then gets plopped in here. Ooh, that would be the most complicated way you could do it, I would guess. But then again, I'll probably think up a new one. Okay, so the AI can now do the thing. Sweet. Now you're just limited by your ability to have a question to answer, I guess. I mean, yeah. So what are next is the question, right? What are next? The real thing is going to be working on the all-in-one prompt for the Uno, and then having the semantic echo do the narrative Spittoon. So, or rather the in-painting after the, yes. Have I lost my pen again? 2 seconds, guys. I got to go and get a pen.
Alex, the SWM deal.
Hemizmat sağ, itrak, sırası kemoşu. Mala ben böyle bir kısmış. Çıkışımı kendi like böyle şişik gibi şey. Hadi bak, sen de basat. Okay.
I got my pen. Let's put her on warm up. You can warm up in the background there. There we go. Right. So where was it? It was not like that. Not like this. Am I muted? No. Good. Right. Boop, 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 boop. Put her down. So things that need to be done. The 3D web search. I reckon it's probably a good idea to make a TINS. What's the mysterious reason for the pen to disappear? Find this out more. Many more. Yeah, it's because I never write anything down. I only write things down. Basically, it was in a bag. I've forgotten where I'd put it, basically. You should always keep little pieces of paper and write things down. The problem is the computers, they take too long to turn on sometimes, and you don't get the idea down and it's gone. Some ideas can be fleeting, and it pays to write them down. Even if you never execute, they're there at least for later. Like tears in the rain. So what we're going to do, the perplexity TINS. Perplexity 3D NM3 TINS. Why? Because I want two ways to integrate. I want to be able to integrate it natively, so you don't need to do an API app. And then I also want to do the API thing, because I think it would be useful. But there's also the API method. Okay. All right. And then, so that's that. Unified citation. Yeah, more citation updates. We need to do more of those tonight. Because I'm terrible. I've only done like the last 10 and it was like a great effort to do it. So yeah, don't forget to put citations in your readmes, because you'll end up like me and you'll have 200 of them to have to suddenly update in one go. So more citations in readmes. I'm actually thinking about adding it as like, you know how we have agents, right? You know, we were looking at agents earlier, yesterday. We were looking at agents, right? Well, imagine if you had a Claude Code agent that was actually using an open router to somehow, I don't know, this is theory, right? It was somehow using Grok 4, okay? And then the sub-agents programmed to write your readmes. So then your readmes get written super cheap, and it understands to put in like user template citation at the footer, and it's just going to make it right for the, you know. So this is the goal, you know, more automation, more time saving, which accelerates the productivity even further. So yeah, more citations in readmes. That's always a good idea. The narrative Spittoon 3.0 complete process. That's now out. And that is, I think, should be in 1.1. Is this? Yeah, V 1.1.0. Good. So then you can always go back to that. So there's the NSL 2.0, which is the YAML header, or should I say project instructionless, because all of the files will self-inform, and that will be a nice pathway as well. So that's that. Collector, that was an example. The hybrid swarm agent needs more testing. Hybrid swarm. I deliberately didn't do it here because I've already updated the repo. I'm going to do it on my machine at home instead. So hybrid swarm agent, and then obviously I'll update the repo again and we'll show it off here, and hopefully it actually works 100%. See, the trouble is whenever I do a migration, I think what he does is he cheats and he fixes your app without fixing the actual installation. So then when you migrate the code and someone tries to install, it doesn't work because it didn't have any AI monkey patches in there. And I think what might actually happen is when you do the install, it may in fact overwrite some of those changes or just not do them. You know, so I think that might be why you have it all working on a machine. You upload the source code, and because he's done some kind of patching of the actual app rather than changing the source that built it, I think it's something to do with that, but I can't be sure. It feels like an oversight that an AI coder would make. So I haven't proven it yet, but it certainly looks like that's why it doesn't work, because you give it like one fix and then it works. So it makes it seem like there's an AI patching that needs to take place after installation sometimes. But yeah, need to do more work on figuring that out. Let's see. Get rid of that. Obviously, we're going to continue with the careless canvas 3D. And people were asking me as well the other day, are we going to be doing like imaging again anytime, maybe? And the answer is yes, we're going to be coming back to it. We've got lots of image models to train. If I'm being honest, I want to train on the next WAN video model with images. At the moment, I'm training my image models on WAN 2.1 because it works with WAN 2.2, but it's cheaper to train. I also have been using Flux and Flux Context for training, but that's slightly for different things. And if WAN 2.5 is about to arrive, I'm like putting the coolers on image training till we find out if they're going to release weights. If they don't release weights, I'll probably be training on the WAN 2.1 again with some of the new data sets that we've got, just because it's high res. We need a 2K image model. It would be nice if like Flux 2 came out, because remember, it's Flux 0.1, isn't it? So maybe we get Flux 0.2 one day, which is actually 2K. That would be nice. That would be the best outcome, because then we can just take all these data sets we've been curating and start the retraining. So I don't know when that's going to happen. It might not even be this year. It could be in a couple of weeks. Depends if you're talking about the next Flux or the next WAN. Obviously, the next WAN is already available on API, so I would say that's going to be coming out first. But that's just a guess. Nobody knows. Vector Hollow, narrative Spittoon inversion. So yeah, there we go. That's the main thing. we need to make NSI 3.0 Uno, which will have echo into InPaint. So that's quite advanced. So obviously it would be an load NSL. Yeah, you'd have to load the NSL in, and then you're going to do Uno reverse. No, it's Uno forwards actually. It's just Uno forwards. I suppose I could give you the option of doing Uno or Uno non-fiction, just in case you're actually... no, we'll do proper non-fiction tools. There's no point trying to roll it all into one app. You just have a non-fiction tool. This is all for narrative storytelling stuff, right? So it keeps it nice and tight. Get feature creep madness, because we can do basically anything, really. Okay, so what's this? Narrative Spittoon Inversion 3.0 Uno. And then the other thing, of course, is we need the NSI 3.0 evolved or something, I guess. We need to come up with a better word for it. But it's basically load NSL, and it would be, yeah, the last one is obviously page in, page out. That's essentially what it does. But this one, it actually does, it does page to summary and then loops back on itself to make the new NSL. So it's like slightly different, but also the same. So you got two new tools there, and it's like it's all working off the NSL standard, right? So that's the idea. It should be fun, like I say. I think we should be good with this one. Now, was there anything else? I think there is. I think there's still more. I've run out of room to draw on. There's no more paper. There's no more paper left. I can't write anymore. Yeah, Cascade Edit, of course. Cascade Edit. Cascade Edit being my testing system, which I'll use tonight. Because I'm going to, right now, we've got a tab which is for the Uno and multi-model. What I think the next tab should be is showing the multi-stage. So you can see it do the Uno, and then it do the echo, and then it do the fix. And then I've got like a little test bed to make sure it's working. But I'm pretty confident that it'll work though, so it might be unnecessary. We might already have what we need. Is this public? It is. This one's public already. Publico, so you can just go ahead and use that. Sweet. I mean, I appreciate these features are already for free. You can go on some platforms like I think AI Studio, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are platforms where you can just pull in lots of different models and prompt them all at once. I'm sure there are playgrounds like that. But I wanted to be able to like do some extra stuff if I need to. So I had to kind of mimic that so I could build stuff on top for testing. So that's the main reason we've got it in there. So Cascade Edit. I suppose I could just kind of write it somewhere, like up the top here, maybe. Cascade Edit. All right. That's the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. LM Arena, says Fernicar. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. So LM Arena is the places that specialize in the comparisons. So yeah, that's it. Like I said, that's the show, guys. Episode 285. We're getting out of here at 11 p.m. I will be back up on the Discord in about 15 minutes. Just takes a little time to drive home and switch the computer back on. Hopefully I'll see a bunch of you guys there. You're all welcome. Other than that, enjoy your evening. See you next time, guys.
Alex, the rest of your eminence deal.
It's Hey mom, I buy böyle bir kısmıyız. Çıkıştı bunu kendi like böyle şey gibi şey. Hadi bak, sen de basın. Okay.
Stop to